Hello and welcome to the Penn State Summer Commencement Ceremony. My name's Alex Grosek and I'm going to say a few words. Given the current state of things with a global pandemic killing thousands of people every day, civil unrest in the US and abroad, and more recently a deadly explosion in Beirut, floodings in Bangladesh, and the general economic destruction occurring around the world, it's clear that we're graduating into a difficult reality. It's fair to say that the good old days for the time being are behind us. And it's becoming increasingly clear that we're going into a world that is not normal. As such, awards and degrees feel less relevant right now. Yes, we've all worked hard to graduate, but we've done so in a protected bubble that is Penn State University, where we've been allowed to try and fail without significant consequence. As a result, we're beginning our adult lives with an educational head start. That's great, it's incredible, but it's not a reason to be complacent. Time does a much better job at revealing the true forces that shape our society than a school or an internship or an institutional association ever could predict. It's actions and outcomes that earn recognition, not names or titles or posturing. And now life is upon us whether we want it to be or not. It's arrived much more aggressively than we probably expected and then past graduating classes have had to deal with. But it's here, it's what we're faced with, and in earning our degrees, we've demonstrated to ourselves and to the world that we're willing to do the work and deal with change regardless of the circumstances in which we must perform. We suffered through the boring classes, the 8 a.m.s, the recitations, the group projects, the stress, the expectations that we put on ourselves and that we have from our parents. We got through it. We took it all, we choked for a bit, we stumbled, we were humbled, but ultimately we swallowed our pride and we suppressed our ego and we finished the job. So if we can do that, why can't we change the world? All we have to do really, I think, is get started. And we have an obligation to get started. Not tomorrow, but today. It doesn't have to be grand or even noticeable. It's just important that you act and that you continue to act. There's a popular Mr. Rogers quote that goes something like this. When I was a boy and I would watch bad things on the news, my mom would say to me, "Look for the helpers. There are always people who help." Well, we're not that little kid anymore, right? We're the adults. We're living in the world that the news is covering, and it's messy. But we're young, and we're educated, and we're full of life, and it's kind of our turn to be the helpers. So don't waste time, and don't sulk. Understand that you're small. You're one of 7.5 billion people on Earth who are just trying to get by. But you're far from alone. Start thinking about yourself as a global citizen. Not a Pennsylvanian or a Penn Stater or an American or a Westerner or an immigrant or whatever other label you can think of. Instead, think about yourself as one small drop in a very, very large pool of people. But see yourself as someone who's positioned to help and improve things. Not just waste and consume or get rich and then disappear. We have to do more than just get by. Especially now, when there's so much in the world clearly that needs to be fixed. Leaving a positive impact is a hard thing to do. It's much easier to leave things worse than we found them. But I encourage you to leave things better than you found them, because one day we'll be old and we'll look back and we'll be happy that we did. If you know what you're doing next, congratulations. I'm sure you're going to do an incredible job. But if you're graduating without a plan or a clear idea of what's coming, you shouldn't feel anxious or worthless. Look at yourself. See in the mirror or the webcam someone who is capable, someone who is determined and who is responsible enough to keep it all together to graduate college. That's an incredible accomplishment and it says a lot about your character. So pick up your chin and straighten your back and keep at it. You're worth more than you could ever possibly imagine. Find a way to be useful, pay attention to what's going on around you, breathe, and keep showing up. It's all we can really do. It's what we owe the world, and it's what we owe ourselves. Good luck, and onward to the future.